9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey,
Hey,
welcome.
are you hearing dings?
I am not.
Okay,
but
just want to
maybe
make sure.
you
I
are.
heard dings on my computer. I did some new setups and I was hearing something go ding. I'm like, oh, I hope everybody's not
Oh,
hearing my
that's
dings.
you and the technology, man. You and that robotic mind of yours. You can't let it go. Well, welcome everybody to IFB Interfleet Broadcasting. I am New York Pete. I'm the co-host of Interfleet, and I'm here with my best friend, the Tipsy Toaster, aka Chris.
That's right.
And I just want to thank you guys up front for joining us and tell you that, this is our news and pop culture sci-fi entertainment channel. And Chris and I grew up watching 70s, 80s TVs, movies, cartoons, and we bring a unique spin to our little corner of the universe here. And everybody also has to know that we're big Battlestar Galactica fans.
Just a little.
Just a little bit.
Just
Yes. About this size.
yeah,
Chris,
just about this
just
much.
this size.
Or it could be this.
Oh no!
Yeah, it could be this
God.
size. Right. There we go.
Those are for
I think more
real big wishes.
I think that's more of the big size.
Like,
Battlestar Galactica.
Like that's like I want a house. Can I have like a real starship? Like, yes, I want like a real spaceship. That's what you wish on that.
That's right.
So yeah. Fran is
I need
with
an
us.
Imperious Leader one. I wonder if you can make me an Imperious Leader one.
God, that'd be
That would be
really
cool.
really cool.
All right, I'm contacting Mucky Chris and letting him know.
Yeah, Monkey Chris is good. We run into him a lot at conventions, and he's a really nice guy. Baz and Mike and Lola, Dave and Mike DeBrune, Dave Francoeur, Chris Laskowski. I haven't seen you in a while. Who else is here with us? I know I'm missing Chuck. Chuck Davenport, one of our team members working with us on The Stranded Warrior. We love you, Chuck, and everything you do. So we have some announcements to make about the movie. George Giacomis in the house, and of course, Baz. We wanna, Baz, you got to come on back. We're gonna have you give us an update on your Viper Down Under, and we'll find out how that's going, because I do follow you, of course, on Facebook. So we're going to catch up on all these things in a little bit. In the meantime, Chris, let's do our traditional
Traditional
beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. You can.
I saw your eyes glaze over, so I figured, I put you in the
This
spot.
dinging on my end is driving me insane. I don't know
Oh, well.
what I've done differently, but I'm getting a ding.
Superfan Fran, thank you for
Yep.
getting us this round again of
Tonight is
adult
we're
beverages.
celebrating Christmas in July.
Christmas. Yes, Christmas
in July. This is Bell's from Comstock, Michigan. This is a Scotch ale. Bell's Brewery. This is a traditional Scotch ale, rich and malty with notes of caramel and warm finish, certain to make any occasion festive, or at least a bit more bearable. Enjoy with company, friends, and family. Shelf life is 6 months, and we're really close to the shelf life on this thing. So
yeah, we got to get this open.
It's 7.5% alcohol by volume. Thank you, Superfan Fran, for doing. I love the little. Did you see the little top? Show them the cap. No, the cap.
Here, the cap.
The cap's kind of cool. Put your hand behind it. There it goes.
There we go.
Get a little. Bag it up. Bag it up. There you go. There it is. Christmas tree.
Oh. Christmas tree. Dun. All right, cool. Yes. So, Superfan Fran, thank you again. She's gonna have her cape ready for Dragon Con, so that is so cool.
Yep. And I have my glass tonight.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I saw that. Klingons, Romulans, Andorians. Tholians, Vulcans. I have my Captain Apollo Battlestar Galactica original glass. Thank you very much.
So,
and ready? 1, 2, 3. Yes,
Ooh,
smells like
smells
Christmas.
good.
Yes, just like Christmas. All right, let's do it.
Good smell. Ready?
Yeah.
It won't be as dark as my Cylon heart.
Not today. This is looking good, guys. I am not going to spill this on the floor nor on my keyboard.
Oh, you take all
this
this
happened many times before. So there we go.
See what I am tonight.
Oh, Dave says he's using his Cylon glass tonight. All right, cool, Dave. We're balanced now, right? Balanced. I got the Colonial Warrior. You got the Cylon.
Looks like I'm a...
Rob Baum's with us. Rob, thanks for joining. Yes, he is. He's decked out for Arcta. That's right.
A little Tholian. Oh, between Tholian and Andorian tonight.
All right, it's cool.
So anyways, we always want to toast the fans.
Oh, yeah.
Fans is what makes this thing happen, makes us be on the air and have somebody to talk to and get back and forth with. So we're very, very grateful for the people who show up, and especially the people overseas and everything else. But we also are very grateful to people that are fans of all of the cool stuff that we are, the V, that Logan's run, all the 80s, 70s, 60s, 90s, pop culture, sci-fi. It's because the fans are what makes the thing, makes the fandom. And therefore we always say, Pete, as he's checking his text and not checking on what I'm doing.
The fleet. Well, no, I'm reading everything. Baz, fans fuel the fleet. Baz said it. Thanks, Baz. Hey, guys, this is to you. Hey, bottoms up. Wow, it's pretty good. It tastes like a Christmas tree.
A little bit.
Yeah, I got a little pine taste in it.
Yeah, that's good. I like it.
Yeah, it's like a Christmas tree. But anyway, hey guys, thanks for joining us. And of course, everybody that watches this later, we've actually almost hit the 11,000 mark. We are very close to 11,000. Thank you, everybody that's, coming in and joining us, all the fans, all you guys that are into science fiction and, everything else that goes with the genre. Thank you very much. And we appreciate your support. And, some of our stuff is hitting 20, 30,000 views. It's going off the charts. We really, really appreciate that. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know that many of you watch live and a lot watch later. Oh, like Uzo. Yeah, no kidding. Fran.
Uzo.
Right.
Wow, I haven't had that in a long time. Not much of a licorice fan, though.
Well, sorry. Your loss.
What was the beer we had a while back that was Greek that had the unicorn on the top, or there's something on the top of it? What was the...
Mythos?
Mythos, that's it.
Mythos is great.
It was like...
You're like, oh, that's drinking water.
It was like drinking water. It was like 3.2. I mean...
Yeah, well... when instead of drinking water, you just have a Mythos, man.
That's
Come
it.
on.
It's safer than the water, I guess, right? I don't know. I'm just...
Actually, Rob wants to know, how does the Xmas tree compare to the gum from those cards of...
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. No comparison. I'll chew on a Christmas tree before I eat more gum. 40-year-old bubble gum wrapped in the baseball card wrappers. No, don't do it.
Card.
Go chew on a Christmas tree bark. It'll taste better.
Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. We have a bunch of guests coming on, and it's really cool that our
it's a busy night tonight.
Special guest author is Mr. Nick Snape, who is coming on from the UK, and he's a military sci-fi author, and I've been looking into this stuff. It's really, really cool. He's waiting in the green room. So we're going to bring him up first, and then we expect to have Mr. Chris Fian from the 501 Empire City Garrison coming on. And then, of course, we have Karen Smith Hensen from the military sci-fi track of Dragon Con. And
you get to learn a little bit more about Dragon Con tonight and what the tracks are all about. So that's kind of interesting, because this is an all volunteer thing, so it'll be interesting to talk.
it's a little different, right, Chris? It's
Yeah.
not the same as
It's not like
your typical convention, although Dragon Con is in the top 3 and has been for 20, 30 years. But we're going to get to find out what this track business is all about. And if I'm not mistaken, she's actually in charge of
MSFM.
the MSFM,
Military Science Fiction Media.
Media track. So which we are involved with. And by the way, we do have a panel. And we have a trivia contest that we are hosting. The panel is in regards to the Stranded Warrior, our fan film, and the trivia is going to be Battlestar Galactica trivia. So we're going to have a really, really good time with that, and we're looking forward to meeting up with all you guys at that convention. And there's a bunch of other things going on, but without further ado, let's bring on Nick Snape, and let's talk to him. I want to. There's some questions I have for him. And Nick, welcome to Interfleet Broadcasting. How are you, sir?
Yep, there's my fault. I knew I was going to forget something tonight.
It's an alien intervention, Nick. Sometimes they purposely
call to. Let's see. Hang on for a second.
Can you?
I gotta find him.
Yeah, you're gonna find him. He's right next to you.
Yeah, I've been redoing things, and when I hit that button, it turned his audio off. Give me 1 second. I gotta find his audio.
Oh yes, I like. Rob says, I've never heard of people offering lesser ado. I guess it could happen, but by the way, Nick, one of our very, very good friends and supporters, a fellow science fiction enthusiast, Baz from Australia, sends regards to you. So there you are.
Thanks, Baz. Thank you very much.
All right. Absolutely. Again, thank you, Nick, for taking the time out. I know there's a time difference, and so
we really appreciate it.
Cool. Yeah, just a bit. But you've been writing military science fiction for a while, because you have a few books out.
Wow.
And we try to do a little bit of homework before obviously our guests come on. I know that you were an educator for decades. And you turned to science fiction writing and specifically military science fiction writing. So tell us about that, Nick. How does that work?
Well, basically, I was an educator, like you said, for 30 odd years. And most of that time was spent with what we call primary age children, so 3 to 11s. And my enjoyment of that really came down to story. Working with children on reading, working with children on writing stories, and all that development work that went with that. And their imagination is just amazing. They put us to shame where they will take you with stories. And a lot of that time, I learned to I think the word would be riff off them. They'd throw you ideas, they'd throw things out. I would develop stories with them, and you'd fire that imagination going along with it. So it's that coupled with, if you like, your own sci-fi experiences and the things that you read when you were children. I was the Bradburys and the Heinleins when I was growing up. So all those things have influenced where I was going. But then we had our old friend COVID that hit the schools, and particularly for England was a difficult time for the way the schools were operated. And I made my mind up then that I needed to change. I needed to go somewhere else. So in December I retired. And I know you said I've got a lot of books out, and I've been doing this for a while, but all those books have been written since January.
Holy cow!
What?
I write at pace.
Oh my God!
It's amazing, I know, but it's become a full-time thing. I think I'm used to being up at 5, working through the day. Schools in England, you don't tend to leave till 6, so I've got into a habit of keeping the same timescales, same habits, same structures. So. I do write at pace. There's another one. Book 6 is going for beta reading now. It's just gone out, and that's the longest one I've written. I will be slowing down. I need a holiday, but that's where we've got to. And I don't know why it's happened like that. Apart from, I've always been a hard worker. If you know what I mean. My early years were always spent on the building site with my family. You'd be up on the cement mixers at 7. And all that type of thing. So it's just how I am. But basically, science fiction for me was a get out when I was younger. But during COVID, I really got hooked into things like Craig Allenson, Ewan Curry, the stuff that's the longer series, the ones that were quite episodic is probably the wrong word, but structurally would work in that way, that you could keep within a short type of space that would really flow quickly. Pulp is the wrong word, but it's the type of thing that you would serialize. You could read it, you could put it down, you could come back 3 days later and pick it up and keep going. And it was that type of stuff that got me through that period of time, and that's that type of stuff that really I decided that's where I wanted to go. I wanted to try some military science fiction, give it a go, see what happened. So from there, it was coming up with the concepts and coming up with the ideas. And as I'd never actually written formally before, I wanted to keep it simple, would be the way to describe it. So the first book, Hostile Contact, and I'll pick these up only because I remember actually which book I'm talking about. Hostile Contact is almost, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost a chase book. Basically, you've got, I wanted characters that are not superheroes. So it's full of the actual people involved in it are reserves or reserve trainers. In UK, we call them Territorial Army, which is developed onto becoming the word reserves only in the last 7 or 8 years. Some people call them Saturdays and Sundays. It's not the weekend warriors as such, but those people who are highly trained. And the more I looked into it, the more I realized those people are actually on tours. They're in Afghanistan. They're in some of the worst areas alongside the regular army. So it was an opportunity just to celebrate that at the same time. When I started my research, I found out that my own grandfather was actually a reserve for the Royal Navy, was minesweeping just after the Second World War. So it's quite an interesting development from there. And so I wanted to keep it very structurally simple and about the characters and about that focus within the first book on really what turned out to be a chase. So that's where it led to. And in terms of story arc, at the beginning of the book, I didn't have one. I just wanted to run it through and see how I would write. But I think, I don't know how I describe it really. I think you had, was it Bert Oliver Bowman you had on?
Yes.
Who talked about a structural plan and how he planned things out step by step. And he had a direction to go, and his books are brilliant. But that's not how my mind works. I think really working with children, you get that flexibility where they can just take you off into places. And I think that's where I went. I think you had Charles Hack on the other day as well, who talked about actually you get dragged into what goes on, and the characters take you to places. And what happened with Hostile Contact is basically the characters developed. They took me to places I didn't expect. And by the end of the book, I knew I had a story arc that I could put together. Probably at the beginning of that, it was 3 or 4 books. I think my story arc will now be 8. I think that's where that will probably come to an end. Unless, of course, people want more. We'll see what happens.
Well, I would imagine that they will. We have a question from our friend Baz down under.
Mm-hmm.
He says, Nick, what would you say is your biggest asset when it comes to being a productive and successful science fiction writer? Education or imagination?
Oh, there's an old saying, isn't there, that it's 98% perspiration and 2% imagination. I don't think that can happen in books. I don't think you can be that way. And if you look at children, they develop at different times, different paces. And sometimes that perspiration doesn't come until they're 16, 17 years old and they realize they have to work. So I think for me, as a writer, I've always been a hard worker. But that imagination, I think, is vital if you haven't got that structural thought. And I think that scares me a little bit about the way people are talking about AI in writing at the moment as well. Where's that imagination going to come from? Because all the AI are doing is regurgitating what's already out there, pulling it together and writing it in that style. So I think imagination's a much bigger part. Education obviously important, and for a teacher, my original editor did not like my grammar whatsoever. And that took quite a while getting round. I think we had a few fallouts in the end, mainly because the structure of a fast-paced book, which is what the first one is, it is extremely fast-paced. It's almost real time. It ended up as a, in places quite short and choppy in terms of style, but it had to be to match what was going on. So to answer your question, Bez, imagination is the most important, I think.
Excellent, outstanding. So Nick, there's a couple of things that I was hoping I could get you to touch upon. One of
Yep.
them is, I think, an obvious question that you'll probably get a lot if you haven't gotten it already, and that's going to be, what was the catalyst? What was the spark? What actually initiated this? And the other question I have is, when it comes to, you know, dealing with the military aspect of these characters, who do you turn to? You must have like one of your somebody, a guru or someone that you go to that, hey, how would this play out? How would they do a breaching? How would they get into, and so who do you go to?
Well, for that part of it, I didn't have many. For the science part of it and the science fiction side and some of the deeper science that the books get into later on, I have a lot of friends who have got experiences in and knowledge within computing and physics and biology, which come into a lot of the later books. But for the actual army side of things, that was all down to research, checking through things. There's a couple of beta readers who read the original story have come back to me and changed things. I got a couple of things wrong, which I changed after a week or so when people wrote to me and said, actually, that wasn't quite right, which took me by surprise when you look at some of those. But most of that was actually research, making sure I was going through the right things, looking through the American process as well as the UK process, because actually in places it's quite different. So a lot of the military side of things was based on, you'd call it internet research, but then people feeding back off me. Whereas the other areas, that's a lot of the people I know who are my friends who have got a deep knowledge in terms of the scientific development and things.
Interesting. And then, of course, it's that. Can you pinpoint the spark, Nick? What was it that just drove, that you said, "Oh my God, that's it. That's where that's created this world for me."
I think that the spark came from the characters. I think as daft as it sounds, actually, when I started writing them and saw where they were going to go, and I wanted the aliens in the first part of this story to actually come across as the bad guys, if you like, but in reality, they're desperate people. When you look through the story structure, actually, most of the aliens that we deal with in the stories are actually humans who have been removed from the planet 40,000 years ago and seeded on other planets that humans could exist on. That premise, as it actually developed in my head, became quite interesting, because then you've got all the different directions that humanity could actually develop in, and not necessarily the same as how we've done, and at different rates. So it was that the spark for that was really where the characters took me, and then that need or want, if you like, to make sure that we weren't always dealing with the big bad alien, if you know what I mean, which you would come across in military sci-fi to a degree. There's always someone to fight. There's always someone to take on. Whereas in some of the stories as you go through, it is the human side of things which cause the problems, as well as some of the aliens that we encounter along the way. So the spark for it, really, the development point really came from that want of keeping it the heroes to be ordinary people, and actually the people that they're up against to be ordinary people as well, or desperate or in need or in a situation they couldn't help.
Excellent. I like this idea that it's character driven. Sometimes a lot of really good science fiction, especially episodic, is character driven. So that's really cool. I like that idea. I like the idea that you're pitting a squad of army reserves against the might of alien technology. Now that's a really a good hook. I like that very, very much. So Nick, where where does this take you now, right? So you've moved beyond your profession. You've there's a new chapter in your life, no pun
Mhm.
intended now, and the writing is definitely going places. Does that mean you're going to do book signings? Are you going to be at bookstores or conventions, or how do we meet you?
Well, there's a. I think that comes down to how many people buy the books, isn't it? When it comes across in the UK scene, something I've got to explore in terms of what happens in with book signings and everything else, and if there is the interest there. So, um, with the explosion of ebooks creeping across from America into England more and more, because it's where the most sales are with Kindle Unlimited and things like that. It's I need to start exploring that more, make more contacts, get more involved with local authors, and just see where that takes me. So at this point in time, there are no plans. What will happen? Obviously, there's an audiobook deal in the background with Northern Lake Audio. They're talking about tours and other bits and pieces that will go with that. Whether I'm involved in that process is I'll have to find out at this point. But at the moment, it's just me in my office writing away. At some point, I need to explore that a bit further.
Oh, absolutely. We do a
Mm-hmm.
lot of author interviews at various conventions and shows, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where our interest has been piqued. When we go to these typical comic book or science fiction conventions, there is always a nice representation of authors, and they
Mm-hmm.
have their books with them, and that kind of thing. So we're hoping that at some point we do meet up. I know that you're going to go further than what we have. What I'm looking at is the American Amazon, and I see that all your books are up, and we're looking forward to the audio, which we had mentioned before we went
Mm-hmm.
on live, that you are pursuing, and that's a good thing because a lot of us do like that audio aspect of the ease of enjoying a book without having to just do it when you're before you're going to sleep, right? I never liked the
Mm-hmm.
idea of using a book to put myself to sleep. I want to enjoy it while I'm awake, and then get the full feel of it. And if I can't sit and read it, I want to be able to hear it. So that's great. That's something we're looking forward to. And at some point, we hope that your books and your stories take you beyond just the written word. I'd mentioned that I was going to put you on the spot with this. If you had a choice between, you know, making a jump into graphic novels and turning one of your books into a comic book, or maybe writing a screenplay for it, which one would you think is right at this point?
Um, I thought long and hard about this. So I'm a product, if you like, of the 80s serialization, the Saturday morning specials, the everything from Battlestar Galactica through to oh, some of the other stuff that we used to show Logan's Run and all the different bits that they used to show on those mornings. So I think if I had a choice, it would be along the serialization line of things, breaking it down into episodes like that, which is almost how the books are designed to be done, and how I've always thought in terms of writing sci-fi anyway. So I think that would be my preference. So we could call it screenplays, but not for film. I think it would be much better as a serialization that way. And it's you know a dream that would be good.
Excellent. Well, this is how it all begins, right? There's got to be a
Hmm.
point A along, the trip or the odyssey that this can take you into, and I like that. I like the idea of the fact that you did mention that your first book, which is Hostile Contact: Weapons of
Hmm.
Choice, Book One, you said that it's fast paced, and again, that
Yes.
harkens back this idea of shows like Battlestar Galactica that were for fast
Hmm.
paced, right? Things were happening on a regular
Yeah.
basis, and things were moving, and the
Hmm.
story was constantly going places. I always, saw it as a roller coaster ride. So I am extremely interested and fascinated in picking up and starting your series, and it's on Amazon. As a matter of fact, those that are using I believe it's the Kindle, right, Nick? If they have a Kindle
Yep.
Unlimited, a lot of your, I think the first one I think is free. It's included with Kindle, correct?
They're all on Kindle Unlimited, all the books. So they're all free if you're on Kindle Unlimited. The first book is only 99 cents and 99 pence in the UK as a series introduction. The second is £2.99. And then the third and fourth and fifth are £3.99. So it's really just a gentle way in if you enjoy the style and the way it's written and the depth. So Return Protocol, there's a lot more depth as the characters build. There's an introduction of an AI in there as well. Zuri's War is really a rescue mission on a planet that's really struggling. Finn's War is really on the lines of a very advanced human civilization that's moved on to genetic experimentation where things go very wrong. And you can see on there, if you just want to hold that picture with the top there, this is where they developed from, if you like, from the reserves into more of towards, if you like, the Space Marine type concept. So it's very much at this point that the actual military side of it turns into space rather than just based on the planets. And then that perpetuates in book 5, which is military, perhaps with a little bit of a horror twist. So each book really has a different style to it as it's going along as well. So it's an interesting book, that one. Its response has been really, really interesting from the way people have seen it. And then book 6, which is the one that's due out hopefully in middle of August, Invasive Species. We'll change tack again slightly. We'll return to the idea of why the colonization and things started in the first place, why the humans were seeded on the planets. And then the last 2 books, well, that'll be Battle for Earth, somewhere along the line. Gotta happen.
Well, fantastic. This sounds exciting. I like the concepts. I like the way, I like the idea of the pacing that you're using. I am going to explore. For those that are interested and curious, please look at Amazon, look up Nick Snape. And I can tell you right now that your first book, Hostile Contact, has no less than 310 reviews, and it's 4.5 stars. And that's remarkable. So congratulations, and keep up the good work. Nick, please come back to the show when you're ready to release your next book or whatever it may be. We'd love to have you back to do an update on where you are and where, where this is taking you. And fantastic. Thank you for taking the time out.
No, thank you very much for having me. Really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Nick, here's to you and your world of writing and military sci-fi, things that we strongly enjoy. Chris?
And thank you for being your very first interview. So
no, well, thank you for making it easy for me. I really appreciate it.
A very first interview, and we really appreciate it. So keep writing those books, keep making those worlds, and we'll keep reading.
Here's to you, Nick. All the best.
Cheers.
All right, another set of books to read. And I like this idea that the first one right out of the gate is all fast paced, and he brought us in on the world building and what it takes and what happens, and I like that very, very much. I'm super interested, so I'm glad. So that was Nick Snape from UK coming on, doing his first interview as an author and fellow retired professional. Chris, we also have, at some point, we're expecting to have Mr. Fian from the 501.
Keep an eye out for
Empire City Garrison, and of course, then we also have another guest that's coming on, but is expected a little later, and that's Karen Smith Hensen from the military sci-fi track at DragonCon, which we are involved in.
The best sci-fi track, because that includes Battlestar Galactica.
Yes, exactly, amongst others. But so we'll talk about that afterwards, guys. Yes, Firefly. There are tracks at Dragon Con which is unique to the big three, at least the big three. I don't know that there's others that do this. I've been to a lot of cons. As you guys know, my first con was back in like 1977, and so I know a little bit about going to cons. And so this is unique, and they have their own way of doing things. And remember that Dragon Con is one of the top three, right? There's San Diego, there's New York Comic Con, and there is Dragon Con. So we're gonna
And out of
have
the
her
top
come
three,
on.
Dragon Con is the only fan-run convention.
Yeah, in that mega idea of
Right.
just how big it is. However, we do have to mention, since we are about fandom, Chris, we're about movies and TV, that there is a writers strike
Mm-hmm.
that now includes the Screen Actors Guild. They officially went on strike, and TV and movie actors vote for biggest walkout in 4 decades, according to the New York Times. And of course, the president of SAG is none other than Fran Drescher, the nanny,
Oh yeah,
who
I didn't
is
know that.
yes, who is a fellow alumnus from Queens College, and so everything is basically shutting down, and that affects all our favorite TV for the next season. Because depending on how long,
Really?
it's there's an
They're gonna-
impact
they're-
now, but
They're gonna. I can't finish watching my Miami Vice.
well, no, your
Or
original
my,
Miami
or
Vice.
my V, or my Logan's Run. I've been rewatching.
No, yeah,
I've been rewatching
that
a
stuff
lot
is-
of episodes lately.
Yeah,
But
that
if it
stuff
does
is
affect
okay.
Silo, then there's a problem.
Oh,
because-
it might, because I binged Silo, guys, and I'm watching Foundation now. Thank you, Ed Hale, for
I
putting me on
started
to
Foundation.
that. Oh, it's good. It's
It
good.
reminds me of Dune too much.
Yes, it does, but it's good in its
Yeah.
own way. It's really good sci-fi. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll keep plugging
Um,
away. I'm only in the first episode, but it just seems a little painful to me.
No, it's good. It's good.
It's not
Trust
it's
me,
not
it's good.
sci-fi enough for me. It's more
Well,
fantasy
yeah.
into it.
No, it's good. It is
But-
all sci-fi, dude. It's
but I
all
can
about
tell you,
cloning and
I
cloning.
got Apple TV Plus, and I hate Apple because I just feel that they're conglomerates for their phones and everything else. And back in the day, it was like, oh, you got an iPod and everything else, and you couldn't own your own music back then. Whereas I stuck with my Androids, and that's how I keep my music and everything else. But anyhow, I digress. I got
Dude.
Apple, so it says a lot that I would get Apple Plus TV for a particular program, and that was Silo. And Hugh Howey wrote the book Wool, which is what Silo is based on, and it's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
Silo is really good. It's not a perfect copy of Hugh Howey's Wool, but it's close, and it does take some liberties with some other things, but it's really
It's a
good.
good series. It's a good show.
It's really good.
I binged it. It was really good.
It's post-apocalyptic, but
Yeah,
it's
but it's
not
good.
it's not as sci-fi type things that I usually watch, but I do like post-apocalyptic, and that one is
It falls into the genre.
wow.
It's good. But yeah, all the SAG-AFTRA strike now is 160,000 strong, representing television and movie actors, and it's the first time in 43 years that they're striking with the Writers Guild together in force, according to the article. And I'm just not doing it justice, but I'm looking over. And since Chris, you and I, our
77.
yeah, it's Hollywood Actors Union approved a strike on Thursday for the first time in 43 years, bringing the 134 billion American movie and television business to a halt over anger about pay and fears of tech-dominated future. So talk about science fiction and
Yeah, there
the
was
AI
also
issue.
but there was also an article on there. Also, I think one of the reasons why, possibly, once again, I am just spitballing here. So once again, don't everybody jump on me if they disagree or something. But one of the articles I was reading was that Hollywood was hoping to starve out the writers They were like,
Yeah.
a couple
Yeah.
more months, and they're not going to be able to pay their
Right.
rent. They're not going to have any food. Then
Right.
they'll come back to us crawling, and
Yeah.
we'll be able to do what we want to
And
do.
they'll, yeah,
And now the actors
That's
have joined in
underhanded.
to help out, I believe.
Yeah.
So that is
because the Directors Guild, they struck a deal, and one of the other big unions, Hayatsi, which is typically a West Coast union in the business, but they also have representation throughout and the East Coast. They had struck a deal as well, and the Writers Guild did not budge. And now that SAG-AFTRA is in, it's the first time since the '60s that both of them, writers and SAG, have gone on strike together. So it impacts all our stuff.
I just read Robert Baum's thing. I think the last writer strike gave us those wonderful reality shows.
Yes.
No,
That is right. That's true. That is very true. And before that, guys, there was another one. There was another strike, and I think it was in the '80s. And I remember there was a TV show called Other World that came out of it. And it's very much like a Stargate.
I think I've seen that one.
There's hints
now
of.
you made me look. Hang on, Other World.
Yeah, no, Other World. I remember seeing that, and anyway, so that's what's going on. And being that we are also involved with
the
film,
movie or TV show.
It was a TV show. We are also involved in the idea that we've put together something ourselves called The Stranded Warrior, and it is a passion film, a fan film, but it was registered with SAG as an ultra low budget, and so we had SAG union members, actors that were in it, and of course including our star George Zuvalos, Diana Durango, and all the rest that were in, and so that impacts everything that gets done on this level. And so we wanted to mention that, since we are, we love our movies and we love our genre and stuff. So that's going on, guys. So we hope that
they're
it
in the
gets settled.
process of. I know Diana's in the process of making another movie, and Mr. Zuvalos is in the process of making another movie.
Yeah, that puts everything on hold.
This could be a hold.
Yeah,
for those
on everything.
Movies. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we
this
support
Other World thing. I don't ever remember seeing this one.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, we're in support, guys, and we hope that this gets settled in favor. There's plenty of money to be made out there, and I think there's enough to go around, as well as protecting the rights. The idea of using images and for controlling them and reusing them forever. A background, for example, a background actor taking that image of that person and then using it forever is a little bizarre through AI, and then writing stuff with without
we had talked last week. I think it was about the voice AI, and then the government's already come out and said you can't patent a voice, you can't copyright a voice. So that's because we have people who can, but you can civilly go after them, because if they try to misrepresent the person, then that's different. But it's scary stuff.
It is. And Chris, a lot of people have made their careers where you hear that actor's voice and exactly who that is.
Oh, it's like Darth Vader.
Yeah. I mean, that's just one person, right? I mean, how many others? Michael Morlock, welcome to the live IFB. We're just talking a little bit about, the writer's strike here that's going to affect television and movies for we don't know how long. Let's see. Somebody wrote something interesting. SAG strike of 1980 didn't allow for Christopher Reeve to publicize Somewhere in Time. That's from Rob Baum, our unofficial fact checker. Rob, thank you very much.
That was a really good movie, by the way. And that was I had our favorite, one of our favorite actresses on it too.
Yes, Jane Seymour, right?
Jane Seymour.
And Jean-Pierre Doliac was involved in that as well.
Good call. Yeah, he did all of the costuming.
Costumes. Yes. And also, I wanted to let you know, Chris, that Rob Baum stepped up and he volunteered to help us out with trivia for Dragon Con,
Oh,
and
cool,
has
cool.
put together a series of awesome questions.
Cool.
So
Yeah, if you wanna
Rob,
put some-
thank you.
Don't share questions with everybody, because then some of these people that might be going to Dragon Con
Yes,
may
but we got them.
get to cheat.
He sent them. He sent them to me. I have them, and they're impressive. So I just want to bring that up
So,
on air and thank
Robert,
Rob
so
for
we're doing
taking the time
old,
out.
new,
Yep.
Caprica, Blood and Chrome, anything Battlestar Galactica at all. Maybe even throw in, hey, you know what would be, we didn't throw in any last year, was any toy ones. Some toy Battlestar Galactica questions, maybe not real hard ones, but you know, I remember last year we did this. We ran the trivia contest, and
yeah,
we had put old and new together and everything else, and every time an old question come up, you'd hear a groan throughout the audience, because most of them were not familiar with the old one as well as they should have, because they're like, oh my gosh, I can't remember that. You know, we asked hard questions too. Those were not easy questions, but
hey, you're gonna do it because you want to be challenged. You know, what's the point of going and knowing?
It's
like,
always fun.
Come on,
you know, like what was the name of the planet where
who starred in the original Battlestar Galactica? I mean, you know, come on.
As you know, it wasn't those that would be an easy question compared to some of those we put together. So we had a good time, and that's this year well,
that's the whole idea.
You know, we'll have once again Freya from the Battlestar Galactica, not bulletin board, Battlestar Galactica fan club. She'll be also be there to help out. She's there every year.
Cool. The more the merrier. Well,
it's been 46 minutes, and don't worry, Marin's right there, right behind me.
Oh boy!
So that's what I need to do. Is I need a Marin Jensen Buddha.
Oh, that's creepy. That's creepy.
Dude.
Don't go there. Yeah, don't go there.
I'll get another restraining order.
No kidding.
That'll make 6.
Commander Kane, Paul is watching with us live. Looking forward to hooking up with everybody at Dragon Con. I also wanted to share, I just got these in. These are chase cards from the Stargate Universe Series 2. Super hard to get, as my fellow card collector Dave Francoeur knows. This is a set of 9. And now I have 6 of the 9. So now I got to get the others. And it's taken me years to get these. And so finally somebody was parting with these.
I remember I had to, you had me look.
Price.
I was in Denver at the world's largest comic book store.
Yes.
And it is the world's largest, Mile High Comics.
Oh,
it's just, you ever get to Denver in a layover and you're there for a couple hours, go to Mile High. Comics. It's just unbelievable. It's a warehouse full of comics. But you made me look for a number of and I bought you a couple of them too. Stargate Universe was a Stargate Universe.
Stargate Universe. Yeah, Stargate Universe. One of my all-time favorite sci-fi shows that had 2 seasons, and it was really, really well done. I really enjoyed it very much. They had cards made for season 1 and 2, and this is of course Rittenhouse that makes a lot of these things that we actually we met Rittenhouse at
hold
the
it up closer. I mean, it's
card.
kind of like do one at a time. I can't see those. I mean, just throw them up there. Just
this is the medical scanner display.
We've got good cameras, so why not use them?
There you go. Let me see. That's one of them.
I did not watch Stargate Universe.
Oh, you should. I'd highly recommend.
Upside down.
Yeah, here we go. And that's the control interface panel. Very cool. And then this is the observation deck. Very, very cool. Very well done. The acting was superb. The stories were very, very good too. And so, these are the the chase cards.
What's the premises in Stargate Universe? So they just how do they
get stuck? They get stuck on a ship. It's like a, hundreds of thousands of years old, if not just really ancient starship, and it's a seed ship. It's one of the ships that actually puts the stargates down on planets.
Oh.
Yes, it's an ancient ship, and they accidentally get marooned on that ship.
They have all those stargates and they can't get off.
Nope. They can't. They don't have the power to dial to Earth. They can only dial within that circuit that they're in, because you need a certain amount of power to actually be able to, dial into the furthest reaches. And they are on the opposite end of the galaxy. They're like, and going further out, because that's all it does. It just seeds.
Like a Voyager.
Yeah. Yeah.
Type thing where they get stuck somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. With limited resources and, what happens to them. And it's done very well though. Like what I didn't pick up on in the original Stargate show, what it was on, was, the idea that it seemed it was almost always kind of clean and sometimes tongue in cheek when they go through and, go to another planet and visit these other worlds. Well, in Stargate Universe, that's not how it plays. When they go through and they go to another planet, it's like some places you can't breathe, some places, you get sick, some places, yeah, it's like, I was like, oh, this is cool.
This is cool.
Yeah, they're real challenges that they have to overcome. It's like, what happens when you get there and there's nothing but hostiles and you're running out of ammo? Like, how do you deal with that? Versus the other one never wanted to deal with too much of that. That's too kind of like almost too realistic. This is a little more, yeah.
Then cool. You had Stargate Atlantis, and then
that was all before. That was prior. The last one was Stargate Universe. Yeah, that was like basically the last two.
Stargate SG-1.
Yeah. And Stargate Atlantis, all of those, okay. And the mini movies that they did. They did movies as well, and then they did Stargate Universe, and then that was the end of the whole franchise. Basically, they tried to bring it back on podcast. They did like they streamed some shows like on YouTube or something like that. No, they came up with a channel. They did a channel
like a Roku channel.
Yeah, Stargate had their own channel, and they made like small mini episodes. And it failed. They weren't able to keep it going, unfortunately. But anyway, so that is the story for a lot of our, favorite shows that are out there, but that doesn't diminish how we love them. And
I'm with Paul, Hardy though. I could definitely do some Hardy Boys, Marion Jensen trivia.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
I don't think Battlestar Galactica trivia would work that one. What?
Comet has what, Lola? Comet has Stargate Universe?
Probably.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. I actually went out and got the DVDs when they weren't showing it anymore. I went out, I got the DVDs.
I just ordered, I think I said last couple of weeks ago, I have ordered the Battlestar Galactica 4K.
4K, okay.
Steelbook.
Somebody put up a couple of, I think, images. I guess they were promotional images from the, and it's phenomenal. Yeah, it's like incredible.
Yeah, well, it's probably, it's going to be, it's 4K. Now, like I said, I have to get a 4K TV, but.
Yeah, because right. However, Chris, we have a few minutes, I think, until, for a fact, we know.
Or so.
We know that our guest from Dragon Con is going to come on. We want to bring everybody up to speed with the Stranded Warrior. So today.
Yeah.
Today, we worked hard, and we finally finished sorting and labeling and picking out the best shots in every scene. And they're
not
all
just the best shots, but the best angles as well. So when you're filming,
they're all in folders.
They're different angles
audio,
as well.
We put in all the audio tracks to go with each one. And so now we're ready to move forward. And our CG team, Chris Marshall and Chuck Davenport and
Ken
Thompson.
Really cool stuff. I wish I could. I don't want to share too much of that stuff. So
no. They're working hard, man. They're doing some really cool stuff, and they're just waiting to get into some of the more complex parts of our.
I've shown this one before. We can get away with.
Well,
but
can, I guess. But the idea is we're putting together a trailer that we're going to debut
definitely a trailer.
at Dragon Con. So Dragon Con, we're going to have a debut. And listen up, guys. The other thing I want to announce tonight was that you already know that September 17th is the day that we start our new season.
Yep. So,
and that's the day that Battlestar Galactica first aired, right? September 17th, the original.
Which this year falls on a Sunday.
1978. So on that Sunday, we of course expect to do something. It's not clear what it is yet, but we're working on it. And so expect us to have a little celebration.
24-hour.
Yeah, it's not happening. You can't handle that, kid.
I can.
You can't handle. No, you can't.
I can handle 24. We just take a break every so once in a while. We're good.
You're working
go to
the next day. You're working the next day. You can't.
I'll take it off.
You can't do that.
I'll do that for the fans.
You can't handle 24. So
I think we need to do a 24 just to find out.
We've done a 6-hour. We've done a 6-hour tour.
And that went by fast.
Fast. It went by like you thought that we were going to be dragging. So if you guys haven't seen, we have a special that's 6-hour long marathon. And feeling from Chris and Pete's tyranny. Yes, fleeing from. Yeah, right. No kidding. The ABC Sunday night movie 45 yards ago. That's right, Paul. Very good. Jeff Walters, 48 hours, all Cylon lives matter. That's right, Jeff. How the heck are you, Jeff? It's good to have you on. Let's see. And Kathleen, Dragon Con rocks. Yes, Kathleen, thanks for joining us live. Appreciate it. And so that's where we're headed. And we're gonna try to make a big splash, guys. So for those of you that are into the ribbons, IFB has their own ribbons. And so we're going to be distributing those, and maybe, just maybe, we might have Stranded Warrior ribbons. I don't know. We're gonna see if we can do that.
I'm gonna try to do new cards. Yeah,
we are doing new cards. 3 of them are complete. We got to do 2 more. So once those are going to be extras that are coming out, exclusives to Dragon Con. So we had a 10 card set that we debuted at Awesome Con. And of course, Diana Durango and Jimmy Shirts were there, and they were autographing those. And depending on which actors are going to come with us or meet up with us at Dragon Con for the panel, they will be autographing. So any of you that show up to Dragon Con and come up to us, we will have a set of cards for you. Some of them, of course, will be autographed, and that's now the first 10. And there's going to be 5 more. So the 5 are going to be debuting specifically at Dragon Con.
There's a sticker on there I like.
There's 10, and then there's 5, be 15. And I don't know. Chris was saying he might make a very, very special card that you would have to
maybe do a special Chrome version or something for Count Ebly.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. That's up to you. I don't know. That's up to you. Kathleen says, me. Yep. If you're going to be there, we will have these as promotions for the Stranded Warrior, and that's courtesy of Chris and myself. These are
maybe even some special giveaways for some special giveaways for trivia winners.
Yeah, the trivia. Yes. So we're gonna put that together as well. We have tentative commitments from some of the actors. We'll let you know as we get them committed.
Yep.
They're going to be on our panel, hopefully. So Fran, Superfan Fran, obviously, since you were in the Stranded Warrior and you're coming to the con, to Dragon Con, obviously you're going to be on the panel with us, and so we're going to have...
Kathleen says she's not good at trivia, but I think if you know Battlestar Galactica, you should be great at trivia.
Oh yeah, come on. Oh, Commander Tara
You have time to rewatch all of the Battlestar Galactica episodes. Start now.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, as a matter of fact, Tiny Bean has her own card,
Yep.
Colonel Medea, and she's going to be autographing some of these cards for us to give away at Dragon Con. So that's in the works,
Yep.
and of course,
but we're still working on it.
depend-
We're getting there. It's
yeah, we
it's
are.
been a bit of we got a little bit of setback when the hard drive crashed, but now that hard drive is gone,
Yeah.
and I got a new one in, so it's now ready to go, and we're getting ready to get a hold of the editor and start working on getting piece by piece.
Oh, Paul just said he just read the Encyclopedia Galactica. It was really good. I really liked reading.
Didn't we do that?
No,
that wasn't.
No, the Encyclopedia Galactica.
Oh, we did the storybook.
We did.
We did the storybook.
The encyclopedia is different. It's really good.
Yeah,
I have one. Yeah. There's questions about whether or not it was licensed or not. It was authorized. I think in the end it was unauthorized, unfortunately. But the details on it are tremendous. It's really, really well done, and we'll be setting up the Viper at Galveston. Wow, that's BSG Team Viper. That's incredible. Fran, the encyclopedia is out there. Just look online. Go up. I believe that there is some copies floating around on eBay. I'm pretty sure you can get one for very reasonable. Every character is listed. Yeah, it's a great book. It's not that thick. It's kind of thin.
Yeah.
It's hardcover, fully all glossy pages, and I really, really liked it a lot.
It's in my other spot, I think.
We did the scrapbook, Chris.
Yeah,
I don't know if you remember. We did the scrapbook, which was authorized. That was a legitimate authorized.
But it leaned way too much to the colonials. So.
Oh my God.
It did.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was definitely against the sidelines.
Yes, horrible. And so you're heartbroken. By the way, Chris, I want to know if you're going to bring Lucifer or just Ibli to Dragon Con.
I don't know. Probably both. Depends on how much room I have left in the car.
How are you going to swing both, man?
It's a big trunk.
Who gets more playtime, Lucifer or Ibli?
Probably Ibli, because he's easier to walk around in than Lucifer.
Oh boy,
Lucifer is a little more difficult.
The Colonial Warrior leg computer. It's famous for that picture that Athena she's posing, and so I finally
on her
together.
Beautiful leg. That's yeah.
Ibli with the devil head. I don't know. I
need to find a way to see if somebody can actually sculpt one of the foam rubber devil heads. I would love to do that.
Nobody except a handful of us would know exactly who that is.
99% of the people won't know who Count Ibli is either. So, I mean, he was in what, 2 episodes?
Oh yeah,
in tons of comic books. I mean, he was in all over the comic books. So, but Ibli was only on a couple.
I'm driving, Chris. I can route my trip past you. So Fran's volunteering to load up. I don't know. I hope you have a big car, Fran.
Yeah, that's funny. It's like, is it sad that I'm looking at new cars because I can't fit enough cosplay stuff in it to go to Dragon Con? We've rented a van the last couple of years, and I'm like,
that's funny, dude. That's really funny.
I was like, man, I really need to probably get a new car, and if I get a new car, it needs to be a van.
You need.
I love vans, though. I really do love vans.
You need a good SUV. That's what you need. Steve McCormick, good evening to you, sir. Good SUV. That's all you need.
Yes, Robert,
thanks for
you're
joining
correct.
us
Muslims
live.
do know who Count Ibli is.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't really probably refer to him as the Battlestar Galactica Count Ibli, but there's a little difference there, I'm sure.
They know the premise behind
the premises behind it, yes.
Oh yeah. So we're moving ahead. It's taken us a little bit of time, guys, but Stranded Warrior is moving. In the meantime, this summer we are going to be sending out all the perks. So that's next up. Now that
Yep.
we'll be handing off the movie to the editor, who's going to be working on it. And in the meantime, the trailer is also that's actually number one, top of the list is get the trailer out, and we're working on that. And then of course it goes to editing. Well, our movie poster, the movie itself is out, and we're moving forward. It's
And
it's
then
happening.
off to all the cons and all of the
Yeah. Oh yeah.
competitions.
Yep. We're doing the festivals, the
Festivals.
film festivals. That's up. We got those lined up. As a matter of fact, we're waiting to tweak the script. So there's a couple of minor tweaks that we have to do now that we filmed it, so we could start sending out the screenplay to various competitions that exist. So we're sending that out as well, and yeah, we're actually working also on hosting a film festival.
Yeah, that would be
film
interesting, right?
festival.
So we're kind of doing a
Yeah, so that's working.
indie
We have a
film
couple other.
festival up in New
Yep.
York.
Yep, and we have a couple of projects that we're working on as well.
And that
There's
came from the idea came from well,
Joe
we've thought about
Carabeo.
it for a long time, but yeah, Joe
Joe
was-
Carabeo.
came on
Yeah,
a couple of
he's
weeks
so-
ago and talked about it. Says let's do it. That's okay.
Yeah, so we're going to be working hopefully with Joe to get that going, and we'll see if we kind of rope in Matt Bush to do. Maybe he'll grace us with a trailer on his trilogy that he's working on,
Mhm.
and that would be fantastic as well. So that's happening, and then there's a couple of other projects that we have going. There's a proof of concept for a reality show that our production manager is putting together. So we'll be working on that, and there's a couple of other things that there's a sci-fi horror that John One is working on, and so we're going to be at some point we're going to be doing his as well, and it's a really good premise. Can't put it out yet. He hasn't locked it down. So once he does, we'll try to start. We'll be promoting that because that's all original stuff, right? So it's going to be good, guys. You'll see. We're going to make you proud, and of course, Stranded Warrior. Where will you be located at Dragon Con? Kathleen, we don't know yet.
Yeah,
We're going to.
Unfortunately,
you know-
Dragon Con is so big that
Yeah, it's gigantic.
yeah, so we don't have like a table or anything like that this time. We're working
no
on it
booth.
maybe next time, but right now there's no like fan table or anything like that. So we will be hanging out in the MSFM room for a couple of panels for that, and then we'll be running around at Dragon Con getting interviews and those kind of things, and then I'm still trying to find a place close by to have a Battlestar Galactica style dinner.
We're gonna have a meetup though. The
Every
meetup
Sunday.
is, I believe,
Definitely
Sunday.
Sunday, usually at 10 o'clock on the back steps of the Hilton. We do a group photo with everybody in Battlestar Galactica clothing. So it's Cylons and everything else. And then we did a meetup last year when I think we had 6 actual Cylons and my Lucifer there. So it was amazing to see 6 chrome Cylons hanging out.
Steve McCormick, will I get the chance to defend my Battlestar quiz crown this year at Dragon Con?
No, you
I
can't.
think so. Why not? Oh, that would be great. Looking forward to meeting all of you, though, guys, and all of you that are coming. Please, we get a kick out of it. We've been out a lot of shows, and you guys come out, and it's a lot of fun seeing you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Just coming out,
That's a
it'll
good
be cool.
excuse. Yeah, I was drunk too. Nobody
We'll have a good
ever
time.
drinks alcohol at Dragon Con.
At Dragon Con, yes. Okay. Yeah.
When they roll
Wink,
out
wink.
the rum carts with the buckets of rum at 4 o'clock in the afternoon,
Wow. That's insane.
and then before that, most people are still drunk anyways. From the night
That's
before,
insane.
it's a
That's
nonstop
crazy.
party, baby.
Wow. It's 5 hotels. It's spread out. I'm looking forward to go. I mean, I've never
You're gonna
been
get your
to one of
steps in.
these, so
guaranteed.
Oh yeah. Well, we're going. We're going to be there, and we'll be doing
I walked
interviewing.
6
We'll be doing
miles in one
live.
day.
Jeez.
On Dragon Con.
There's the parade, so we'll be covering the parade as well. We have
so actually we
our
actually get
passes.
to go out and we have press passes. So in the parade, we actually get to run around in the parade, which is fantastic. So we get to run around with
a lot of fun. Oh yeah. Oh, it's gonna be fun. Yeah, melting Cylons.
Yeah,
Oh
they're
yeah.
hot, man. And I'm not, those uniforms
awesome.
are not cool.
It's going to be great, though. It's going to be fantastic. So we're looking forward to all that. There's a couple other smaller conventions here and there. By the way, Shore Leave, Chris.
I didn't get to go out there. Sorry.
They thanked us. They sent us a post interview. We did a special interview with Shore Leave, and it's up on site. So if you get a chance and you're interested, however, they thanked us, and we are going to discuss next year's Shore Leave, and we're hoping, of course, to kind of make sure that we get to say how much we want to have Battlestar Galactica represented again. So remember, this year, Grace Park and Aaron Douglas, I believe it was.
Chief.
Yep,
yeah.
They were there. And next year, we're hoping to have a little bit of the 78 Galactica represented. So we're good.
We're working on it.
We plugged it. We discussed it with one of
They didn't say no.
Correct. So that's hopefully not only we'll be there and we'll cover it, but we're also looking to try to have that 78 part of Galactica there as well. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to push that. So Shore Leave. So put that down in your calendars, guys, because we're looking to go. I think it's probably going to be.
And they moved up the next Awesome Con. So the Awesome Con is not going to be in June like it was last year. They moved it back to March. So.
Oh really?
Yeah. So it's. Yeah, I think it's
early.
coming up really soon again.
So Steve was there. Replying to Steve, I was at Shore Leave. Aaron was a blast. Many pints were had. Really? Oh, outstanding. All right, cool. Very cool. Yeah. As a matter of fact,
8th to the 10th,
March
2024.
Okay. All right, so we got to lock that in because they were very good to us this past year. I hope you guys watched the interviews.
Still got a couple more to put up, by the way.
Okay, because we had Jimmy Shirts and Diana Durango from Stranded Warrior were there.
Yeah, we did 17 interviews.
Yeah, Diana Durango, she volunteered and stayed the whole weekend.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Participated. We had a really, really good time. She gave out autographed pictures that you've seen because I posted one of them. The one I got. She obviously autographed one for me too, and one for Chris, and everybody came. Everyone that came, we sponsored her 8x10 headshots of her character at the Stranded Warrior, and so we just gave those away, and we gave a lot of them away. A lot of the fans came, and so wanted to thank Diana Durango for doing that with us. And I hope you guys are watching. I know a lot of you are because we've gotten a lot of views and a lot of hits on those interviews. So we'll be doing the same thing. Hopefully, AwesomeCon gives us a booth again. They did this past year, and again, thank you, AwesomeCon. Either they give us a panel or they give us a booth. They always give us press passes, so it's really cool. Fran says, absolutely cool lady. CMOD was there, Colonial Ministry of Defense, and a lot of the guys from the CMOD came. They drove up on their own dime to be in the Stranded Warrior, including Superfan Fran. Fran came. We had such a blast. It was so cool hanging with Fran.
I had a blast there. We're going to even have more of a blast now that we're not going to have to work so hard. We'll be at Dragon Con, so.
Yeah, we're just going to have the panel and trivia, and then we're going to do the interviews. We're going to do live stuff that we usually do, and just.
But when Karen comes on tonight, we'll talk all of the different tracks and all of the different things, and it's
cool.
You'll never find enough time to do everything.
Oh, have to celebrate hard for the 45 yarn. Roll in the ambrosia. Yeah, no kidding. That's right, Paul. Very cool. As a matter of fact, Paul is going. Fran is going. Lola's going. We're gonna get to meet up with Lola.
I can't believe all the people that we've talked into it.
Oh man, Mediocre Modeler was even considering it. Oh my God,
he's got
nuts.
it. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah,
like,
not to mention Sean.
You gotta go.
Sean from Battlestar Bulletin Board. That would be, I don't know, but he's.
It'll be quite a large classic showing this year.
Oh, as a matter of fact, the rumor has it that there's going to be a bunch of additional Cylons because there's a group from
the Georgia group,
yeah, that are going to actually be there. So
I gotta reach back out to them, see what they're up to. We're 6 weeks out now, so
yeah, you might want to. I can't believe it's 6 weeks, man. Yeah, Fran is rooming with Lola, so it's going to be awesome. We're going to hook up. Chris, can you believe that it's 6 weeks, man?
No,
6 weeks is
it's starting. If it's always this time frame. You're like, oh yeah, we'll put it off, and suddenly you're like, it's 6 weeks out. And thanks to Paul. Paul posts every week saying how many days are left, and I'm like, well, I've got to get ready. I've got to get,
It's
go
happening.
Rent a car.
It sure is.
I can rent a truck. A van.
We have to do inventory now on the on our promo stuff, our
postcards and everything.
See if we could do stickers or not. But we definitely got to do ribbons. We're gonna pass on the stickers, Chris. I say we go in on the ribbons.
Yeah, we'll probably all go all in on the ribbons because ribbons are the thing in Dragon Con.
Exactly. So we might as well do the ribbons and get that out there, and it's gonna be crazy. Which is the best hotel
ready to go.
Cool. I'm not. It's got to be one of the big five, Mike, in terms of the hotels.
What's
right, Chris? Best hotel.
The best hotel?
One of the
I'll let Karen talk to that one too, but I would say it depends on what you think by best. There's the party hotels, and then there is the hotel where you actually can get some sleep. Steve says
different
things.
Westin regular here. Okay. Hey, I'm actually going to be like a mile and a half out from center stage, so I'll be coming in.
I use my points at a Marriott down the street, so I'm good.
Closest. There's 5 hotels that host, Mike.
Yeah.
There's
get
5.
Karen on. She can help us out with these questions.
All right, that's cool. Yeah. All right.
Let's make sure her audio works. I haven't had a chance to test it yet.
Okay.
Karen, can you hear us? Oh, we're not getting Karen's audio. I knew that was going to be a problem.
Press buttons. Let's go.
I've got her audio turned on, so go ahead and talk again,
What
Karen?
about fixing her bottom third there? What the heck? It says title. You pressed the wrong button.
I may have done it. So her microphone is not on yet, so we'll do a little troubleshooting there, and we'll get it to work.
All right, we'll get it done. We're going to get it all set.
Meanwhile, I'll fix her title. How's that?
Yeah, you
title
do
editor.
that. Yeah, and then we get the audio running. So we now have with us in the wings Karen Smith Hensen, who is, I believe, I'm not sure if the title is correct. I don't know if she's the director or coordinator for the military science fiction track at Dragon Con. She'll correct me and we'll get that right. Yeah. But she's going to give us the inside scoop on what that's all about. And for those of us that haven't had the pleasure of attending Dragon Con, it's a unique beast, and it's one of the top 3 in the pantheon of sci-fi conventions. Dragon Con is definitely out there, and so we're looking forward to that, and we're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, Karen, I see the green bouncing. It's just not very loud, I think, is the problem.
So maybe we just got to raise that up a little bit. But Karen is now with us. We'll have her on. And
I see our audio is bouncing on your microphone, but evidently your microphone's not coming through. So check it a couple of times there. We'll fix it. Don't worry about it.
For those of you that are not aware,
this is the fun about live.
Yeah, you got to troubleshoot everything on the go. As a matter of fact,
if you want, you can probably drop off and come back on again and just check your settings with the microphone. You can hear us. That's a good thing.
Yes. By the way, so here in the United States, there's a lot. We have a lot of fans that are watching from overseas. Here in the United States, there are three big science fiction conventions. One of them is San Diego Comic Con. The other one is New York Comic Con, and those are pro conventions. The biggest and one of the top three, which is fan run, it's not pro run, is Dragon Con, and that's been around for, I don't know, decades, 30 years, 40 years, almost 30 years, at least 30 years. And it's one of the other, just incredible legendary. It's legendary. I remember hearing about Dragon Con 25 years ago. There was talk of Dragon Con. That takes place in Atlanta, Georgia. Of course, New York Comic Con is in New York City, and San Diego Comic Con is all the way on the West Coast. And those are the three. If you had to create a list, a bucket list of conventions, those are your top three that you would have to all, go to in, not so much in order, but those are the three that you'd have to hit. So obviously, New York Comic Con is one that I've been going to for forever. Late hello from Indiana. James, thank you so much, James Acoy. Thank you for joining us live. And so we're talking about, conventions, and we're prepping for Dragon Con because our guest that is in the green room right now is the track coordinator for military sci-fi at Dragon Con, which we are participating in.
Hey, Karen,
so,
if you want, if you're having problems with your regular computer, you can come in on a phone. So that might be your next option.
Yeah. And
so keep troubleshooting. Yeah. We got plenty of time.
Karen's going to come on, and we're going to
I can hear
her
you.
Explain.
There you go.
Sound?
Gotcha.
Oh,
yay!
Awesome. Yay!
It was the O and OFF switch, right?
Something like that.
Something like that. Karen, welcome to IFB Interfleet Broadcasting, and we appreciate you taking the time out. We've been anxiously waiting to hear your insights on this year's Dragon Con.
Yes.
Sorry about the long anticipated wait on that, but thank you for having me.
Oh, it's great. Oh, I mean, we tried to get you on last year, but right after Dragon Con, but it's like when you get done with Dragon Con, it's like it's time to relax. And I know being a track leader.
Well, you would think it'd be time to relax, but actually, we have several reports due after the con.
Oh my gosh, really?
Oh yes,
Wow.
Dragon Con is really a year-round experience behind the scenes.
And you're a volunteer.
That is true.
Oh my god!
I am in fact the volunteer, but also director of military sci-fi media.
Excellent. By the way, Karen, Kathleen Woodall sends her best. Just chatted. She's chatting it up with us. So she says hello. And,
hi, Kathleen. Hi to you and Jesse.
So what? Tell us. Explain to us what the track signifies in terms of Dragon Con.
Okay, so that's actually a really good question because unlike a lot of conventions that you think of, like for instance, when you think of something like SDCC, so you got San Diego Comic Con, you think giant media panels and huge halls. And while Dragon Con does do some of that, one of the really cool things that it does is it has fan tracks. And those are places where fans gather outside of those giant media panels. And they can share their love of a specific show, a fandom, could be any number of things. So, for instance, there's a Star Wars track, a Trek track, the Brit track, YA literature, and then ours, which is military sci-fi media. So it's fan content by the fans for the fans that happens concurrently with all those giant media panels as well.
Okay, so so you just gave us that one slice of the pie. Is it accurate to say that there are then multiple tracks? That this is one that you just mentioned, but then there's all these other tracks.
Absolutely. There are, I'm trying to remember, up to at least 37. There may be more now of actual
Wow.
fan tracks going on. And that's not to mention all the other things that are happening, such as music and signings. And we've got bands performing, we've got dances happening. Most of those are sponsored by a track. We've got all sorts of things happening, auctions, and then we have the panels where people come and talk about specific topics, which is the stuff that I kind of am over in my particular track room. So there's tons of
Wow.
stuff to do, and it doesn't matter what you're interested in. If it's popular culture, if you're interested in more sci-fi, or maybe you lean more fantasy, maybe you're more about the literature side of it. There's something for everybody.
And it's spread out over like 5 hotels, correct?
5 hotels and the America's
Yeah,
Mart,
Mart, yeah.
and a little
Wow.
extra along the sides here and there too.
Yeah, if you're looking for something to buy, America's Mart is 4 floors of stuff to buy.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
to say dealer's room would be putting it a little mildly. There's lots of stuff there.
Dealers building.
And also there's overflow stuff there too for panels, and other tracks meet there as well. So there's all kinds of stuff, and we fill up all those hotel spaces too.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Oh, so Karen, we got a question from one of our close friend supporters here at IFB, and Mike wants to know what is, quote, the best hotel to stay at during Dragon Con.
It entirely depends on what your con looks like, and everybody's con looks a little different. I will tell you, since I'm up no later than 7 and probably earlier than that every day, and I probably don't go to sleep until about 3 each night.
Oh,
When I can sleep, I want to sleep. And for that, I will say the Westin has a lot to do. Even you might not realize it, there are dances and things happening every night there too. But the vibe is very chill. If you need a place to just relax for a minute in the air conditioning and, do a little light costume watching, and it's still got a lot going on, but it's always been my favorite. And of course, it's also where my track room is. So I am totally not biased whatsoever. But, if you're trying to get up and down the elevators, it's one of the fastest ones to do that as well by comparison, the way they have the bank
wow.
set up. So I will say that. If you're looking, though, to be at the best reach for everything, the Marriott is the most central location, I would say. So
Party
that would
hotel.
probably be your best bet. And it's really nice there, too. If you are looking for kind of more of a Dragon Con nerve center of some sort, there's a lot to say for staying in the Hyatt. It's kind of like one of the older sort of territories of the con. So there's a lot of established stuff there. That's where you'll find Con Suite, where you can get some free snacks as a con person, which is always nice, up on the second floor. So there's lots of good stuff there. And of course, that's where you've got a lot of the major ballrooms where they're going to be doing some of the big panels. So if that's kind of more your interest and you want to be nearby, that's probably where you'd be. It just depends on what you're looking for, really. But for me, it's always been the Westin since I've started staying there.
Wow. Another one of our good friends and supporters, Steve McCormick, he says the Marriott looks like the resurrection hub from Battlestar Galactica.
It does a little. I have taken many, many shots and thought very similarly myself. Camera shots, just to clarify. Pictures. We're talking pictures.
You have to watch.
But
Yeah, we're talking Dragon Con, so
many people have probably taken other shots too, but just from a sheer visual standpoint. And of course, it's been used in various sci-fi and fantasy vehicles of late. So it's just gorgeous when you're in there just to look at it. Of course, the sound does tend to kind of spiral up.
oh yeah,
So it's not always maybe as quiet as one might like.
it's the party hotel. That's the easiest way. I
Definitely.
stayed at the Marriott 1 year, and I was like, "Holy crap! It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and they're still playing really loud music and partying and dancing in the middle of the floor downstairs. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you could walk out your hotel and go downstairs and party. That's all there was for 24/7. I don't even think some people even have a room. They just go there and party.
Wow.
It is something that can happen sometimes.
Oh my
You
gosh.
make friends. Yes.
So,
Karen, tell us about the parade.
Yep.
Oh, well, one of the cool things about the parade is that anybody can sign up to be in it. You just have to get in really early for the deadline, because once they open it, and usually I think it's February 15th, it does fill up quickly. And so you can have any number of people marching in. You can get a vehicle approved and have a vehicle drive in the parade. Some tracks have dedicated presences in there, and you can march with them. It circles all around that area of our hotel space downtown. And actually, from our track room, you can see it wind down back down the street off of Peachtree. So it's really a spectacle. And if you are looking to try to travel anywhere across Peachtree Street during that time on Saturday morning, plan otherwise. But you can see so many fascinating and wonderful costumes, and you can tell some things are a bit more made with love, and some things are full-scale professional production looking stuff. And you never know if it's actually professionals doing it, because people are doing it because they really, really love this.
Yeah, it's definitely we're always praising the fans, because the fans are the ones that create the fandoms. And yes, if you look at the love and the work that some of the fans do, as well as yourself, I mean, look, you volunteer your time and energy and efforts during this whole period of time for a track room and setting up the different schedules and the dance. You sponsor a dance that's it's all MSFM. So I think the best way of saying is, so which, and you cover a lot of the stuff we love, which genre, or I shouldn't say genre, which fandoms do you cover in the military science fiction media?
All right, give me a minute. I have a list.
Excellent.
We have currently about 17 different properties, so I'll hit some of the highlights. But pretty much anything that we do with military sci-fi media focuses mostly on the TV shows and films, which is why we're media as opposed to literature. So we cover Stargate, Battlestar Galactica, of course, of all flavors.
Oh, yes.
We also have Babylon 5, Farscape, Firefly, Andromeda, Buck Rogers, Starship Troopers, Space Above and Beyond, Space Force, Space 1999, Moonbase 8, Pandora, Orville, and Halo, the TV series. Just to clarify, TV series. And we just got the Ark added as well, which is newer show on Sci-Fi. So there's a lot of stuff that we do, a lot that we cover. Some of it's things that are not often seen on air, but they're still beloved classics. And every once in a while, they have new things coming out. Like Babylon 5 has a new animated feature coming out that I'm really excited about. So you never know, but we also do our best to just kind of give time and space to our properties and make sure that everybody has a chance to share in those fandoms.
What are some of the
that sounds like
some of the
fun?
I guess I know there's a Battlestar Galactica trivia thing. I would never know.
Why, yes, there is. That? You could tell me all about that.
But what are some of the other? There's some other, usually every year there's some great, I guess, discussions in the room. What are some of the ones you're looking at this year? Anything in particular jumping out at you?
Well, one thing that we will be doing is looking at some of for Stargate, for instance, TV movies. We're also going to be looking at the mythology and religions within the worlds that are created in Stargate. So that's kind of fun for that. We'll definitely have a fan panel where we can all talk it out amongst ourselves on the Babylon 5 animated feature. So that'll be happening. And one that will also kind of cover some Babylon 5, because a lot of ours will share kind of content. We have a diplomacy panel where we're going to talk about some of the ambassadors in the show and their effectiveness or lack thereof, depending. We have cosplay panels. We have, and those are always fun because we get people to come and talk about their experiences as fans generating their own costumes, but also professionals who share their expertise and kind of offer suggestions and tips as well. So there's going to be a little bit of everything. I think we have an Orville villains panel. And then, of course, we have some of our bigger events that will help support the charity. Like we have actually a separate trivia, which is more a little bit usually has Stargate and Babylon 5 and BSG, several other shows in it too, to kind of mix it up a bit. And that's our team trivia on Saturday nights at 10. And that one is done to help raise money for the charity this year, which is Cure Childhood Cancer. So that's the DragonCon 2023 charity. And we also sell charity items at our dance that we're going to be doing. So there's going to be a lot of charity support because that's also important to us with military sci-fi media. We do want to have a good time, but we also believe in service. And so the charity is always important to us. And that kind of weaves into some of our let's have fun and have great discussions and hang out time. But we also have a cause behind it too.
Right. We pass the bucket around every time, and then the can't stop the signal. Do we have T-shirts this year?
There's not a T-shirt for the Can't Stop the Signal dance.
No, I mean the MSFN.
Just say it, not for that one.
No.
We will have T-shirts for the track.
Okay.
Those are track shirts rather than charity shirts, just to clarify. Right, so that actually supports the track more directly. And we should have challenge coins as well, new for this year. Ooh. We also have charity challenge coins and things like that, that everything from that goes directly to the charity. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking for. We've got some merch back there.
In the auction.
Yes. Now, the auction is a really big deal for us. If you don't mind me taking a little time on that
Please do. Yeah, I mean, I've donated quite a bit of stuff to the auction in the past, and hopefully we can get some of the fans to bring in, or at least let you know that they're bringing in now stuff for the auction. And it's always, if you got the extra comic books laying around that you already have, and donate them to the auction, and let's get some money out of it. So for the charities, I mean, it's a great thing. So I'll let you take off with that, but I enjoy the auction very much. Unfortunately,
we appreciate
I enjoy it
your
too much.
donations too.
Yeah, unfortunately, I enjoy it to the point where I spend too much money at the auction.
So a little background about the auction. It is called the Don S. Davis Memorial Charity Auction, and there's a reason why that is. Back in the beginning, before we were military sci-fi media, we were a Stargate only track. But eventually, when all your shows got off the air, you kind of have to evolve to keep going. So we ended up becoming a military sci-fi media focus. And so we took on other shows that had a military presence, dealing with civilians in space and doing things in kind of a team sort of oriented atmosphere. And that led us to pick up a lot of shows like, of course, we've got besides Stargate, Babylon 5, Battlestar Galactica, and all of those. But we also have items now from all of those in our auction. But when it was originally just Stargate, it kind of happened as a fluke, sort of. There was a track event that Paul McGillion was appearing in, and there was kind of a impromptu auction that got started. And then Paul McGillion started selling off kisses to go with the auction items, and women were writing checks. Things were happening. So the next year, things were a little bit more organized, and we decided to make that actual thing. But the thing about that is that, unfortunately, even though he was going to be a guest that year, we were not able to host Don S. Davis in 2008 because he tragically passed away of heart disease before that. So the charity that year also just happened to be the American Heart Association.
Wow.
So stars kind of aligned perfectly for that. And so for our first really formal, non-KISS oriented auction, although they have appeared later, we actually had him then as our focus as kind of a memorial action. We discussed that with his widow and the leadership at the time. And so that he became kind of our official patron saint, if you will, of the auction. So now we have stuff from, I know we've got a lot of Firefly stuff this year. We've already got some Battlestar stuff this year. We've got Stargate stuff, Babylon 5 stuff. I've seen a little bit of everything so far. I think we may have some Starship Trooper stuff. There's a little bit of everything there. So if you want to just, support the charity, come out and buy things. If you're bored, come out and buy things. If you want to be entertained, because sometimes we have
oh my gosh, it's
MCs,
a great time.
You never know who's going to wander through. Come out and buy things for the charity.
And if you got a chance, donate.
And we do accept donations. We can't always use it every year,
right,
depending on how many donations we have. Sometimes we have to space things out.
Yeah.
But we will happily accept them, and they will get used the next year if they aren't that year. And also, one thing about that is that we do usually have the auction same time every year. So if you're interested in checking out the auction, it's going to be Sunday, 4 p.m., and it's usually in the Hyatt in Hanover, C, D, and E.
Downstairs, yeah.
And it's a good time.
Oh, it's a great time. And your auctioneer, he's such a great guy. He's funny every year. He's just been a great time.
Yeah, we've been working with our auctioneer Everett Beach for a while, and we've had some other help as well. Joey Bruner has been doing a lot as well. It's kind of an MC for us, and we've had past MCs of all different types. Like Chris Judge MC'd for us one year. You never know who it's going to be.
So, who are you looking to go see this year? Who are you most excited about?
Well, of course, I'm excited about all our guests.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, obviously, I'm also very fond of Firefly among everything else.
No.
And we've got Nathan Fillion, Sean Marr, Jewel State, who will also be doing at least one panel for Stargate. So that's cool. And Paul McGillian's back. And that's going to be fun because it's always a good time when Paul's in the house. David Nichol, same story. Gary Jones, you can't have a bad day with Walter there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited about that. We also have some newer guests we haven't seen before from the Orville coming, like Adrian Palicki, Scott Grimes, Peter Macon's coming back, Jessica Zor will be here, and Mark Jackson just got added today. So Isaac's going to be showing up for any Orville Isaac fans. So I'm all excited about all those. And of course, we have our stalwart standby Gil Gerard, who will be here as well for Buck Rogers.
Excellent.
And his panels are always a hoot. You never know what he's going to tell you.
Go get a signature from him.
He
was. I saw him in last year, and I just went up and I got a signature and was talking to him, and he's quite the salesman.
Very much.
He's like, yeah.
He has a lot of stories.
You know what you need to go with that signature there? You need a T-shirt that goes with that signature. Let me show you this T-shirt here. I designed this T-shirt. He's great.
That's accurate.
Yeah. And then so the dance.
Mm-hmm.
It's
so a little bit more about our dance.
What is that?
Yes.
Wait a second, Karen. Can you tell us some more? Who else is coming? Being
well,
who is
for our group or just some of the other people in general?
Our group, this group.
Now, I haven't seen any BSG guests yet, but I am always hopeful every year because you never know. It
usually happens at the end,
who might come.
Close to the end. I don't know why.
Like, watch that space. The DragonCon Facebook page and the DragonCon website, they're always posting out really cool people. And, like the Orville folks that showed up last year, they weren't even announced really until right before the con, literally, because another group weren't able to attend. And there they were. And that was amazing. Oh, wow. Penny Johnson-Gerald was there, and she was awesome. And just Jay Lee. I think Chad Coleman was also. I think Peter Macon may have been there as well. So we had some good times. But this year, those are probably the main ones for us so far. Of course, I'm really excited about the Firefly panel. I think that's going to be fun because we haven't really done a panel with more than one Firefly guest in a minute. So that will be always a good time. Get everybody interacting together.
And Nathan,
and it will be harder for Nathan to prank people by calling them when he's actually on the panel.
That's right.
But I still have faith he might pull something off. But as far as the dance goes, that is going to be a good time. We always do our dance on Friday at 10 p.m. and it runs 4 hours. And that is about as far as we can run to at that point. But it's all kinds of different music. We keep things rolling. We keep it fun. We have folks who get together and do Firefly photo shoots of sorts out in the area where we have got good lighting. And of course, we also have the charity items there so that we can support the charity. And most years we raise at least a couple thousand from the dance. And I'd love to kind of up that even more this year.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Karen, any chance would you consider including, or have you included fan fiction? And some of the writers, we have very strong ties with Fran Severn and some of the others that are classic fan fiction writers that would probably fit right in. Is there ever something like that in your track?
We have had fan fiction panels before. We haven't really had one for a while, but chances are probably in the next year or so. Nothing scheduled yet for this year. We do have a military sci-fi writers and creators panel where we have a couple guests on there that have done tie-in books, for instance. So they've kind of written within the universe, whether or not it was what you saw on the screen. So it's not quite the same, but it's similar sort of concept. But no, we're always considering new ideas, and it's not technically new because we've done it before, but we haven't done it for a while. So that's definitely something I can look at for next year.
And then,
okay, because we have Professor Padden and Fran Severn, who I think Fran is actually listening to us right now, would definitely love to pass on their wisdom. And we've had them on our show, and they have been writing fan fiction of all types. Fran has done Battlestar Galactica and Stargate, and going back like 30 years, as well as Professor Padden. So yeah, if we can make this happen or help you out in any way, please let us know.
Right,
because I know they're anxious.
You have an
to get
online
involved.
form. I think if you go to the MSFM Facebook page, you have a form for people who may be interested in panels.
Yes, actually, our panel form is due to close by 11 tomorrow, so it's going to be a little bit of tight squeak, but it's not too long. If you go to our group and join our group, it is facebook.com/groups/military sci-fi media. And in there's our form link, and that form takes you to a short page where you tell us a little bit about yourself, what kind of fandoms you're into, what's your experiences with them, and we give you a couple options of possible panels you might be interested in doing, and then we look to see if we can make everything fit for everybody. So that's usually a pretty good time. Also, if you join our group, then you can talk to us directly there too, and suggest future panels as well. We definitely listen to our group, and we poll people and find out what you think and see what's up. And that's also where we get some of our ideas from, because we generate content and come up with ideas for y'all to come and talk about, but the best ideas are the ones people really want to talk about. So that's what I really listen to when you're trying to think about, hey, what are we going to do for this year? You know, I look and see what people are chatting about, what they're interested in. And we take suggestions at the beginning of the con, at the end of the con, for people to propose new panels, different things to do with previous panels, and all sorts of stuff. We like to keep it talking, keep communication flowing throughout the year.
Cool. Very
Do you
cool.
have any input on who gets picked for guests?
Now, as far as guests go, like in terms of media guests, no.
No.
That is
Man.
done by the Dragon Con guest committee. Now, I can submit a list of people I would really like to see,
Mhm.
and I can tell the committee, hey, this year is the anniversary year for so-and-so show.
Battlestar Galactica,
Battlestar Galactica, 1978.
1978. It's the 43rd anniversary.
But it's kind of going to be up to them what they actually end up being able to work out amongst themselves, because then you get into the non-fan fun of contracts and things like that, and availability and all that good stuff. But we do get to kind of play with the content inside of our groups. So we always try to have at least a few different things that where people can kind of celebrate anniversaries and celebrate the interesting and more unique things that the fans are doing as well. And that actually reminds me of something that maybe you can talk about for a second, Chris. Maybe a certain panel about warriors.
Well,
maybe a stranded one.
Stranded warriors. So, yeah, we were fortunate enough to be granted permission to utilize an hour's worth of y'all's time and talk about the stranded warrior, as well as possibly display our videos. So, not the final, but we'll do a stinger. We're still in the process of editing, so we've been working at this pretty hard for a very long time, and we spent a good chunk of our own personal money to make a good movie based on Battlestar Galactica 1978, which we see too many fan films for Star Wars and everything else, and
Star Trek,
and it's time for Battlestar Galactica 1978 to step up. So we really appreciate
it needs its moment.
And we really appreciate the opportunity to do that, as well as the trivia. It's very, very nice of you to give us that opportunity. So it's exciting for us, because it's just we're fans. We can't help it.
And we're looking forward to having y'all. It's going to be a good time.
Definitely.
Well, thank you very, very much. And I've heard of the legendary Dragon Con for decades. When I was in the 501 in the Empire City Garrison here in New York City, the guys would always go, and they would always bring back stories. So this is going to be my first year, and I'm looking forward to it. And it's going to be a lot of fun, because we're bringing some of our fans from IFB are going to be coming down. And some of the
first timers we're bringing with us.
Oh, yeah, a lot. Some of the actors from The Stranded Warrior will be joining us as well. And so it's going to be quite the time. We're definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we have
just be prepared.
Yeah,
there will be people everywhere. There will be little tubes connecting the hotels. We call them the habit trails. They are packed just like little hamsters, all trying to run by each other. The parade can draw up to 250,000 people.
Yes.
Wow. Awesome.
We're talking.
I'm just. It is a big undertaking.
It's geekdom, amazing. And I always tell everybody, you go once, that's all it takes. You'll be going back every year. It took me 1 year.
But it can be as small as you want. We have people who come and hang in our track room almost all weekend, and that's their con. We have people go to every single giant media panel, and that's their con. We have people do the party circuit. That's their con. There's something for everybody.
And you can't just face it, before you get there, you can't do everything.
No, you can't. But there's an app for that to try to help.
Yeah, you can't run from one panel to another panel in another hotel and make it every single time. It's just not going to happen.
You got to pick and choose.
You need the app, which I'll say right now. When's the app coming out? Hang on.
Oh, okay. I can drink my tea. We're good.
Yeah, that's always the joke with Dragon Con.
Running joke. Everyone asks all the time, every year, to the point it's like, oh no, not again. The actual answer.
Wow, you know the answer? Wow.
About a month before, I would say, is when you can reliably start to see maybe signs that there will be things in the app. Once the database gets set up, everything's good, people have gotten panels all sorted out, then that's when they start to let that happen. But it kind of depends. It can be a couple weeks before, it can be a month before, it can be, you never know before. But all of a sudden, it will suddenly be there. And then there it is. And you can start just selecting everything you want to see. And then you can try to figure out how you're attending 5 panels in 4 buildings in 1 hour.
I know my daughter has gone with me for a number of years now. I think it's since 2016. And it's an hours and hours of process of going through the app and going, I want to see this, and this. And then the app tells you can't see both of these at the same time because they're on at the same time. And then you're like, oh, which one's more important? And then you start looking
choices.
Then you start looking at, can I make it between the Marriott and the Sheraton in this amount of time to get to this panel?
If you
and then the line to get into the
tricks,
panel.
Sometimes you can.
Yeah.
You just have to be ready. Like if, say, you're trying to make a mad dash from the Westin down to the Sheraton, you're good. You're going straight downhill. If you've got to go from the Sheraton to the Westin, I am sorry. You might find
August,
not this year.
Yeah. In August, September, it's hot. We would hopefully we would love to get with you later on after the end of this Dragon Con and talk. We have some connections in regards to some people involved with Battlestar Galactica in 1978 who we know pretty good, and we have them on our show all the time. Matter of fact, we'll be doing our special show on the 17th of September, where we haven't confirmed it yet, but normally every year he's without fail. Eric Larson has come on our show for an hour or so and talked about what's going on with the Battlestar Galactica stuff that he's doing and Fall Guy stuff that he's doing and and then his experiences as being Moonstone and on Battlestar Galactica 1980 and how his dad killed him off every single episode. He tried to kill him off. Tried to kill him on Fall Guy, and then Galactica 1980 tried to kill him off, and then Galactica 1978 he got sick at the So he's a great he's a great talk to. But we do have some people that you might want to be interested in getting there if we get talk to people and get them there. And of course we tried to get the full size Viper there this year with Carl. BSG Viper. We have a full size. We have a group that has a full size Viper that wanted to bring it in, and you put us in. Thank you very much. You put us in contact with the right people. It just didn't pan out this year because there's just not enough room sometimes.
Indeed, but hopefully y'all can get that worked out because I would love to see that.
It's quite the sight.
Look, Team BSG Viper on Facebook. So. Yeah, so they're and then we've got I don't think we're going to be able to get Baz's over here, but Baz is in the process. If you look at Builds by Baz on Facebook, he's building a full size new style Viper. I'm not going to say which. The Mark system is not in my thing. I know the old style, So, but he's like a Mark 6 or 5 or 4. I know I'm going to get crucified later because I don't Mark 2. Okay, thank you. Anyways,
yep.
He's building a full size. He's in the process of finishing it up now. He's in the process of fiberglassing it. So he's got that in Australia.
Oh wow!
So, yeah, there's some big fans out there that love just all the stuff that's in the MSFM track. So I really hope we get a lot more people interested in coming and get a lot more people into the track. And once again, if you've got something you can donate, reach out to, the MSFM track on Facebook. And, if it doesn't get in this year, it definitely gets in next year. So I know mine was late last year, so mine's in this year. So there's, it's a good cause. Don't feel free to donate something if you have something that's kind of special, but you've got extra, or if somebody who's signed something, you've got signatures. Every time I go to the auction, there's always something there like, I didn't know that existed, and now I need one. Or
1 year, Chris Judge actually auctioned off the sponge he used for the last ever makeup touch-up as Teal'c.
Oh my gosh.
He had it with him. He just dropped it in the auction, signed the bag or whatever it was in.
Oh my god!
And that became part of it. you just never know what's going to be there, what we're going to do, what's
Yep.
going to happen. And of course, then also charity stuff with the dance as well. And our DJ Ryan Walker is going to be giving us all sorts of good stuff to dance to. And then maybe a little bit more, a little harder as we get to the end of the evening, a little more rave. But for the earlier part, it's going to be a bit more, say, fun. As in terms of maybe more from my group of we need to sleep at some point tonight, people.
No,
oh my God, that sounds awesome.
Monday.
Yeah, just a little bit, So, Karen, thank you very much for taking the time out and explaining the ins and outs of Dragon Con's track system, and specifically since we're involved with that, this is kind of like our geek out is the the military aspect of the sci-fi, and so we love all that. And we're hoping that we can do a post Dragon Con wrap up
after you're done with your paperwork.
Afterwards. Yeah. After the
I
paperwork.
would love to do that. I'll do my best to schedule that and make sure that happens for real.
Yeah. So this way, it would be kind of cool to compare notes and just talk about some of the highlights of what it was like to, so Chris being, the veteran Dragon Con, participant, you being set into the whole world of, and then I'll be going there for the first time along with our many of our fans that are on with us tonight, and we can it'd be kind of nice to talk about some of the highlights of what it was like and the experience, and your perspective on doing yet another year brings a whole unique twist to what we talk about. So you're like you're the the track coordinator, the leader, the director of, and so you bring that other
you're a super fan. You volunteer. Yes. And that's so important.
That's right. So volunteering and running it, both hand in hand is different than us just attending. So it'd be kind of cool.
To clarify,
so
I can't do that also without my team of volunteers that also support me too. I have 7 other wonderful people who are working with me nonstop the whole weekend, which really starts on Thursday and runs till Monday.
And what do you mean Wednesday night? Amazing. You're talking now.
Just about. Well, we're packing things up on Wednesday night into the U-Haul because that's what we have to rent to bring all the stuff with us. Because it's that much.
There's an idea.
Wow. Well, Karen, thank you so much. It was a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to having you again.
Yep.
So
here's to you.
This is
fans feel the fleet
for all the work that you do. So thank you very, very much. So bottoms up.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate being on.
And we
will have you
love
back.
having you on, and having you come back is definitely on the you know what? When you're ready, we'll have you back. When you're ready, we're not going to put you into in a box or anything like that. When you're ready, you come back, and we definitely want to because it's easy for us to say, oh, in September or October you definitely have to come back. No, when you're ready, you come back. But we kind of gave you an idea. We want to do that post show, but we can wait a while. It doesn't have to be right away. So thank you so much, Karen. Appreciate it.
You're amazing. You are amazing. Thank you so much for volunteering and doing what you do. And everybody does appreciate it, whether sometimes it probably doesn't feel that way, but you're fantastic. Thank you so much. So take care.
Oh, there was bidding war for a signed Don S. Davis photo as Hammond got up to $250. Then Chris pulled out 3 crisp $100 bills and no one dared overbid him. He cried at winning.
He cried at winning. Wow.
Interesting. Very cool. Thanks, James, for sharing that. And we're looking forward to seeing all of you there. Yes. Thank you for tuning in, Kathleen, everybody else that jumped on, whether from the start or jumping in the middle somewhere. You guys rock. Thank you for watching us afterwards. We get hundreds and hundreds of people to watch the show afterwards. Thank you very much. We're going to have some of our other guests have rescheduled. So 501's coming, and Bran brand from Starfleet Association will be coming on at a later date. So all the guys will be coming back, but we appreciate our author guest, Nick. Thanks for coming. And of course, we appreciate Karen coming and giving us the insight. And we thank all you guys for tuning in. And we look forward to Dragon Con, right, Chris?
That's it. Yeah. So hopefully we'll see you at Dragon Con. If you can't make it, that's fine. Don't worry about it. But we'd sure love to see you there. We'll try to do a party of some type outside Dragon Con. At least go to dinner one night for sure, and we'll do some.
Oh, that'd be great.
Maybe with Karen, and then we'll do a couple of maybe we can. It would be great if we have enough internet connection. I can pull up a live feed of the auction downstairs. That would be fun. That would be really fun. Yeah, we just kind of live stream that to our page. It'd be fun to even get. It'd be better to get online bids.
Imagine.
Maybe next year we can set that up.
Maybe next year. Yeah, that'd be cool.
So yeah, we'll have a good time. There's all sorts of great things to do there. Sleep all you can before you show up, Pete, because it's going to be a long weekend.
Oh, it sounds like it is. But we're going to have a lot of fun.
Thursday's the new Friday, and we're pretty much now at this point, Wednesday's the new Friday. It used to be, we're going to start on Friday. No, everybody's there on Thursday. Everybody comes in on Wednesdays. Now, the party starts on Thursday. The con officially starts on Friday. It goes till the evening of Monday. So,
yeah.
It's an awesome time. So yeah, but anyways, Paul's right. 24/7 party. It is. And it depends on how party, if you're a drinker, you can have a good time too. If you're a non-drinker, you can have a great time too. Costumes, just sit and watch people walk by in costume and get photos with them and things like that. And everybody's so, I think, one of the things about cons and everything else, you don't really ever have a problem in regards to crime or things like that. It's everybody's very inclusive, very nice. You make so much, you're standing in line for an hour or so doing something. You find a lot of friends, people that you keep up with all year long. It's a fantastic time. I think everybody will have a good time that goes. And if you don't go, you can always watch it on Dragon Con TV, and you can actually
watch it on IFB.
So yeah, we've hit our 10 o'clock limit, so we'll be signing off here shortly. But thank you so much for coming,
guys. Yeah, John and Paul and Lola and Fran and Dave, Mike, George, everybody that's on. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. Kathleen and all of you. Rob and just you know who you are, guys. Everybody, thank you very, very much.
Yep.
We appreciate you guys. Thank you. Looking forward to the next show. Right, we'll see you again next Thursday. Stay tuned in because we have more to tell you. So there's other stuff coming up, including updates. Right, Stranded Warrior
every Thursday,
and all the other things that are happening. So
we get back into that rotation and we get close enough to Earth for that broadcast. We'll see you next Thursday.
That's it, baby. All the best, guys. Fans fuel the fleet.